Number 3 says be able to calculate the mass percentage for any compound. And like I said, you'll get the equation on the test. It'll look just like this. You take the part over the total times 100%. And we'll do percents all year. We'll do mass percent. We'll do volume percent. But percents are always calculated the same way. The part you have out of the total possible times 100% is your mass percent. Just remember, you don't actually hit the percent button on your calculator, because then it actually divides by 100, and there's no point multiplying by 100 if you're going to divide by 100 right away. So percent is just your label in this case. So my example says find the percent of barium by mass in BaCl2, and this is very similar to the homework quiz you just had. And the part that some people got stuck on is it's like, well, you didn't give me any numbers. You don't need any numbers from me, because where do you find the numbers for barium and chloride? Yeah, you go to the periodic table. So anybody got a table handy there? You have 1 Ba, and it weighs how much? And you have chlorine, and we have 2 of them weighing 35.45. So then our total, so we've got the 2 parts, and then the total should be how much? Something 0.23. Because I'm adding these up. That's 90, I know. I'm trying to do this in my head. 15, is it maybe 265? Oops. Anybody know? No, it's not 265. That's way too much. How much? 208.23? Okay, that makes more sense. So then how do I change that into a percent? Yeah, so take my barium, 137.33, and divide it by the whole, which is 208.23, and then multiply that by 100%. You didn't take 2 times 35. You have to add another 35.45. So what is that, like 65% or so? Common question is, how many decimals do you have to have? The basic rule, the most basic rule is, if you look at your digits, if I look at my numbers that I got from off my periodic table, this one has 5 digits, this one has 4, this one has 5. Whichever my beginning numbers has the least number of digits, that's how many I should keep on my answer. So since I had 4 digits, I'll keep 4 on my final answer. If I had 2, then I would round to just 2. That's kind of the basic rule, but don't get too hung up. If you rounded this to 66, we'd give you full credit. Because I want to know the percent of barium. That's what I was asked for. So it's 65.95% barium. The second question, second example says, find the percent by mass of magnesium if a compound contains 120.15 grams of magnesium and 80 grams of oxygen. So this is the one I was just talking about. Since I gave you the masses, you don't want to look magnesium up on your periodic table, because if you do, it says it only weighs 24.31. But that's not the case. In this compound, there's 120.15 grams. So my magnesium is 120.15. My oxygen is 80.0. So my total is 200.12. So if I want the percent by mass of magnesium, I can now take the magnesium, the 120.12, divide by the total, take it times 100%, and that's going to be my percent magnesium. So what is it, like 60? Point some. 60.15. What's that? Oh, 20. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's 120.15. Does that change our number at all? 60 point. Zero, 60.103. So we could just round it to 60.0 because this time we only had 3 digits given to us on the oxygen. So if I only ask you for one of them, don't feel like you have to calculate both, but make sure you pay attention to which one I asked for.
So if we look at the answer of 60.0%, is it all right if we put 60%?
Technically, you should put the 0.02 because it tells how good your equipment was. But again, we're not going to worry about that right now.
Okay.
Later in the year, it gets more important, so then we'll make a bigger deal of it. Can I go up a little bit? Sure. The last example I have gives you the percents and asks you to come up with the, in this case, milligrams, grams, milligrams, it wouldn't matter. We can change it to grams since we haven't used milligrams in class at all. Keep it a little simpler. But the question says ibuprofen is 75.69% carbon, 8.8% hydrogen, and 15.51% oxygen. How many grams of carbon does a 200-gram tablet have? Now this one might be fairly easy to look at and figure out. So actually let's make this a 220-gram tablet. So you're gonna have to do some math instead of just comparing. So here's how I do it. If I know the percent really means per 100, right? That's what centi is, like a century is 100. So it's per 100. So I'm asked about the carbon, and what I know is that 75.69 grams out of 100 grams, oops, 100, not 1,000, out of 100 grams is carbon. So I can set up that ratio. And now I'm being asked how many grams out of 220. So up here is my X. I want to know how many grams of carbon. And down here, my total now, instead of being out of 100, my total is 220. Now I can just cross multiply and divide. Okay, so if you understand that a percent is really a ratio out of 100, instead of writing 75.69%, I can write 75.69 out of 100. And I can go ahead and solve for this. So if somebody's got their calculator, 166, we'll go with 0.5 since this was given to us in 4 digits. Okay, and you should always label your answer. Without a label, we don't know. You could be right, you could be wrong.